Hey, Harvest, welcome to another episode of the State of the Church podcast. I'm here with Pastor Terry. We're going to jump right in today. Man, it's September. Can you believe it already?
No.
Like, we're looking at the fall. That means, like, pumpkin spice. That means apple
Hoodies.
cider. That means, all y'all lake people who are here seasonally can go away again and things can quiet down a bit. And,
Yeah.
we kind of get back into, like,
Not that we want them to go away, but
This is coming
Not
from an
ours,
introvert,
anyway.
right?
Yeah,
No.
right.
No, but man, I'm actually really excited for what God's doing here this fall, and our fall is already starting to kind of stack up to be, and just lots of stuff on the calendar, and lots of kind of new ministry rhythms as we kind of go into this new season. And so, Harvest, I'm excited to kind of dig into all that with you and with Pastor Terry today. But Pastor Terry, let's start with Heart of the Pastor segment today. So, kind of talk to us a little bit about how you're doing, what you've been kind of maybe like wrestling out with the Lord lately in your private life, and how your family's doing, and kind of what's going on in Pastor Terry's world lately.
yeah. I mean, a lot. How am I tired? Like this summer has been tiring as all summers are, right? Especially in Clear Lake. So we try to take advantage of the warm weather and the community that we live in. And
Yeah,
so
right.
we have a blast with that, but that means we're going constantly, and so plus all the things that we'll talk about here in a little bit with outreach things that we did this summer. Where I'm definitely not looking towards the colder weather coming, there's also kind of a little bit of a come down, I guess, from the fast-paced environment we've had for the summer.
Right.
So, yeah, but it's crazy, man. I'm in a hoodie. It's like summer last week was upper 80s, 90s, whatever, upper 90, and this morning it's
58
50
degrees.
Yeah, it was when I came in, it was like low 50s.
Let's go.
So
My vibes. I love this. It's fall.
a lot of people love fall. For some of you, it's just a reminder that winter's coming. But it does change kind of our life as a family. It changes our ministry life, and so there's a lot of differences there. But so. Family's doing well. What have we been working through? Serving and all of these things that we've had, all of these events that we've had going on, and
Right.
it keeps us busy. But
Right. What's the big thing that God's been doing in your heart lately?
I think as we've been coming through the Fruit of the Spirit series, it's really reminded me of the importance of our attitude and our thoughts. So in Philippians chapter 4, Paul writes, among other things, whatever is praiseworthy, to focus on those things.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever's true, whatever. And so when you combine that with the fruits of the Spirit, it's really just a huge reminder that first of all, our closeness to God or not, right? Our relationship with God, combined with the way we allow ourselves to think, or the things that we don't allow ourselves to think about, really will produce what overflows from us in an attitude. And so, the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5, as we've been talking about,
Yeah, I love that. We've been digging into that.
they're attitude fruits. And so they're characteristics of the Spirit of God Himself, that comes out in our attitudes. And so when we, Lord willing, when we draw close to God and our relationship with Him, right? That's what we've been talking about, next steps throughout this year. And then when we work towards controlling the things that we allow to occupy our mind, those things produce the attitudes that come out of us.
Right.
And so
That's like a byproduct, right?
Yeah.
It's like you don't just wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be kind today.
Yeah, right.
I wish it worked that way, but no, it's like, no, these are byproducts of like having proximity to the Lord and Him doing a transformative work in your life.
We should be aware of them each day. That relationship, walking by the Spirit, right? It's what we talked about through that series. So when we walk closely with the Spirit of God, He helps to produce those attitude characteristics in us, which then pour out of us, reflecting Christ into the world, because that's what we're called to do. That's what we do, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
How do you think you've been seeing that kind of manifest in your life and your family lately?
Yeah. Boy, we're really going to get deep, aren't we? So as we work through, the busyness of life and ministry, it's real easy for me to kind of get caught up in the whirlwind of everything going on and all the other areas that we're serving. And so sometimes those stressful times can get, to where we don't always respond real well in things. And so, we get, especially as a pastor, and this is maybe just a little bit personal for me, but as a pastor, we can get so caught up in doing ministry that we forget to allow God to minister to us.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Right? And so I'm really focused about, almost every day being in the Word and in prayer. But it's also really easy sometimes, walk through the door and have so many different things to do that
Right.
I unintentionally even forget to have spent time with the Lord. And so I'm just
that's a good word.
working through my checklist. And so making sure that I have the time to do that so that those attitudes and fruits do pour out to everyone is super important.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. Thank you for that, Pastor Terry.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to kind of switch gears and we're going to talk a little bit about some review of what God's been doing in our house this past summer, what's kind of been going on just in general here at Harvest. And we've had a lot of stuff that we can kind of celebrate what God has kind of been doing through Party in the Park. We had 2 of them this year that we did out in was it 2? Or
Well, we were supposed to have 2. The
That's
first
right.
one was
got
canceled
right,
for weather.
right.
Yeah.
But the one that we did have, it had a great turnout. And it was just a really sweet time together in the community, just kind of being present in downtown Clear Lake and just loving on people as they're going about their evening and being able to I think the key word here is just be present, right?
Yeah.
In our community with that. And then the same.
And I know in that over and over again, I hear people say the best part of that for our church is that we get to just serve together.
Right.
Independently. So many people say that to me. It's just like, I love being able to get to serve together. In fact, some people who don't even sign up, they just they just show up to come because they want to be with our church.
That's cool.
Serve the community. And so it gives us a chance to get outside of our walls and go be the church in our community. So
Right.
free food, free fun, and just music and worship and having a great time.
Yeah, it's sweet. But kind of underlying that word present, because again, another piece of that was what we were doing with Thursdays on Main this year. And I thought
Right.
it was really cool getting to kind of watch, you in particular kind of connect with folks. And for those of you who are watching that maybe aren't familiar with Thursdays on Main, it's something that is a big kind of part of our rhythm here at Clear Lake or in Clear Lake. Every summer we have basically a street fair in downtown Clear Lake on Thursdays, and you have thousands of people show up, and so it's just a beautiful opportunity to be able to just again be present in our community and just bring awareness of who we are as Harvest, and just to kind of build relationships and connections to see where the Lord may lead that, And so I love how just our volunteers and you, Pastor Terry, were super intentional this summer to kind of help just do that and just be present for folks. So.
Yeah, we had some great conversations. Of course, we handed out You Are Love wristbands, and we did Harvest tattoos, and we did face painting.
Yes.
And but just being able to be out in the community, having some good conversations with people, and it was great interaction, and most of the time a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Holding down the canopy while the storm came through, that maybe wasn't as much fun.
Right. There was one Thursdays on Main. I took my bike down there, and it started to rain, and the thunderstorm came in. And I was like, all right, guys, I got to go. And I just hopped on my bike and rode around the lake, and thankfully made it home just in time when it was starting to rain. And that one gave you a little burst of adrenaline.
Yeah.
But with that, we also got to partner with Bash at the Lake this year. Man, you want to talk about weather stuff again? And we had to move that inside. And
yeah, Bash at the Lake is not a ministry of Harvest,
but we got to partner with them.
Right, but we partner with them every year. We use our inflatables at the event, and a lot of our volunteers, a lot of our people volunteer, and so Brad and Angie Barber, who go to our church, have another organization outside of Cabin Coffee called United to Serve with Passion and Purpose. And some other faith leaders in the community partner with them as well, and so they put that on, and we're just more partners with it.
Love that. And then we're just going to quickly kind of go through the last couple here. We had the Harvest Kids Summer Camp this summer with Lindsay Broadbent kind of leading that forward, and man, they just did a great job. We had just some sweet time with the kids, just kind of teaching them about identity, the character of God, and who they are in Christ, and so. really thankful for the volunteers who helped with that, and just the ways that God moved there. And then last but not least, we had the back to school bash here recently, where, man, we just had it was a party out in our front yard, and it was great. We kind of took the idea of what we were doing at party in the park and just brought it home. And we had like inflatables, we had the food, we had the pony rides, we had the dunk tank. We got to pie the pastors and some of the principals, and man, it was just a really fun evening just to kind of be together and to celebrate what God's kind of doing in like our house, but also in our community. And so, just thank you again for our volunteers who helped with that.
Yeah, we brought in a lot of school supplies that we get to give to the school district, and so. The school system is part of our community that we really want to be able to connect well with and be able to love on that next generation and those who are, helping to raise up the next generation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I love that.
Really important.
That's our summer outreach review, and just again, celebrating all that God's done through us here at Harvest and in us here at Harvest, and the ways that we've been able to connect with the community and with each other. It's just beautiful to watch God at work in that. So thank you, Harvest, for the ways that you were intentional this summer to help just be the hands and feet of Jesus in the community and just to love people well. So with that, we were going to go ahead and move into ministry updates of what we got coming up here. Again, we've been talking about it, all the past few minutes as we've been doing this cast. Like, we're in the fall, guys. We're about to kind of like really be moving into some new rhythms here. So I'm excited for that. Let's just start with kids ministry, man. Pastor Terry, kind of fill us in a little bit about what's coming up with kids ministries and what we're looking like for the fall there.
Yeah. So Harvest Kids on Sundays continues. The Harvest Kids group are kind of using the life of Paul as an example to learn, how to live while we're waiting for the return of Christ, right? Mm-hmm. So in particular, I think the focus on that is remembering God's truth, growing in godliness, and then spreading the gospel. I think that's what we are called to do, is to spread the gospel to the world. And so starting with our own little area. And so all of those are focused. We believe that our kids, as I've said a lot of times, we believe that kids can learn way more than we typically give them credit for. Mm-hmm. And so we challenge our kids quite a bit. We don't take it easy on them. And as someone who also works with the youth, just seeing the kids come into the youth group and having learned so much and grown in so many ways, you can see the success and the fruit of that. So,
love that.
Bible Builders starts back up September 3rd, right? Wednesday, September 3rd. Bible Builders will start throughout the week, just like our youth, at 6:15. But for the first one, there is a parent meeting that starts at 6. So if your kids are in Bible Builders, 6 o'clock is the parent meeting that night. Bible Builders is in the New Testament currently, and so we just kind of work book by book through the New Testament this year. And there's other things that they have, party nights and nights that they'll join us for First Wednesdays, which we'll talk about later. And so, just a ton of fun and a lot of learning and growth, a lot of fruitfulness that comes from that. So thank you all to all of our volunteers. Of course, as always, that team is great and loving on our kids and preparing them for their future.
That's great. I love that. And then with that, we also got Student Ministries Youth Group. And we got some stuff coming up here this fall with that. Just a little bit of a change of rhythm, but at the same time, it still stays pretty consistent as we move into the fall, which I love that about our church. We're pretty consistent in how we do youth ministry.
Youth goes all summer long, but there are definitely some some changes and some rhythm changes as kind of our processes as we get through there. More kids do come back from being gone and traveling and stuff through the summer. And so we're looking forward to that time. So now the kids who would have been in Bible Builders before, as they've moved into 6th grade, they now move up into the youth group. Right. And that starts starting this week. So let's go.
I love it. Yeah, that kind of leads us into First Wednesdays. For those of you who've been around Harvest for a bit, you may have remembered something called First Fridays that we were doing for a while, and we took a break over the summer of this year. It's been a really special, kind of venue for us as a church to be able to connect in community and to share a meal together and then to join together in a really specific and intentional time of worship and prayer. It looks very different than a Sunday morning. But we've been kind of discussing this over the summer of what's just helpful for our people? What's just helpful for our community and our church? Just, and so much is happening in a small town all the time, particularly like this time of year. And so instead of trying to like compete with everything that's going on out in the community with all the things that are going on like a Friday night, we were like, hey, like we have so much already going on in our house on Wednesdays. Why don't we like think through what would it look like to kind of just move it to the first Wednesday of every month,
Right.
To where like when parents are dropping kids off for Bible builders, they're coming and staying for dinner and for a little while of worship and prayer together as we just pray for our church and as we pray for our community and for each other. And so I want to invite you guys to put this on your calendar. The first Wednesday of every month, we're going to be coming together to share a meal together, potluck. That starts at, I remember what time it starts at. Okay, I think it's like 6 o'clock. But I don't quote me on that.
Yeah, we'll have more instructions coming out.
Yeah. So if we go on social media and the website, there's all over the websites. For some reason, I forgot to put the time down on this note sheet. So I apologize about that, guys. But yeah, it's starting September 3rd. So come join us when you drop off the kids for Bible builders, and then stay for a time of meal together and community together, and a time of worship and prayer together starting on September 3rd. And that'll be the first Wednesday of every month going through the school year.
And the youth is going to participate in that. They a lot of them were already a big part of First Fridays. And so the first Wednesday of every month, the youth will participate in that. The Bible builders are going to join us for a couple of songs also as part of their worship time. And so parents, on Wednesdays, you get to come drop off your kids, but then also kind of be a part of worship and at least for the youth time, prayer with them as well. So
I love that.
Yeah, it'll be a nice time to connect, once a month that way.
And I think it's also a culture piece for us as a church. Like one of our
community,
our big pillars is talking about like worship and prayer, and so we can't be a church that just talks about worship and prayer, but we need to actually do it. So this is a venue for us to actually kind of really dig into some of the culture pieces of who we are as Harvest Bible Chapel North Iowa. So again, just encourage you to put that in your calendar and make plans to kind of build that into your rhythm once a month as we go down the road together as a church and partnering with the Lord and praying for our church and community. So moving on from that, we got groups, man. We got small groups, we got men's groups, we got a lot of stuff here. So let's just kind of like fly through this here and give some folks some updates on what we got coming up for groups this fall.
Yeah, a lot of groups have met some of the groups have met through the summer, and some of them maybe just met once a month through the summer, but they'll kind of get back into those regular rhythms again. And so if you're not a part of a small group,
yes,
remember, guys, we are called to do this Christian walk together, right? We're called to do life together. And so if you're not a part of a small group, I would highly recommend that you reach out to us. Let us help you get connected with a small group. Okay? And so those in particular are the groups that kind of meet as house groups, at some other location, not at the church. Mm-hmm. And so we'll help you get connected there. So please reach out to myself or Catherine, and we'll get you plugged in somewhere. But also we have men's and women's groups that will be starting back up again in September. So
I love this. Just as a quick aside, I love being able to like swing in some Saturday mornings and see just the parking lot full of like cars and people here on a Saturday morning, just doing Bible study, intentional Bible study together, and just being able to pop in and watch Pastor Terry leading the men's group, and then the women's group and all that they're doing. It's just it's really beautiful to see just like God at work in our house, and just the way people are just plugging into not just their Bibles together, but just with each other. And again, at a venue for community, intentional community together. Yeah. So again, if as we go forward, make plans to join us on some Saturdays. Whether it's like every week or just sporadically. I know we all have things going on, but community doesn't happen by accident. Relationships don't happen by accident. Time in God's Word doesn't happen by accident. All these things require intentionality. So as one of your pastors, I want to encourage you, be intentional this fall. And let's, look at what the next step in your relationship with the Lord looks like. And I think some of the things that we're talking about today, like groups and First Wednesdays, are some great ways to kind of be taking some next steps in your walk with Jesus this fall. So let's, with that, keep moving, Pastor Terry.
Yeah, so men's and women's groups on Saturday. The Tour de Bible is a walk through the Bible, gives you a good sense of Old Testament, how the Old Testament and the New Testament work together, and that's a great study that we have, had a really good turnout for. Yeah, I love that. So sign-ups are done on that. There is a curriculum that's involved in that, but you can be praying for those that are going through that and for their growth, that it's something that really does impact their lives, and of course then turns around and impacts our community here at the church and our community in our in Clear Lake in North Iowa.
Yeah,
So,
I love that.
then we also have, of course, our prayer group that meets Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. So if you are available to come in for that, it's a great time to get together. And
Yeah, Bob Dodge leads that. I love
yeah,
that.
yep, Bob leads that, and then leads it specifically with some intentionality towards praying for our church and praying for our community, and then
Yes.
praying for our nation as well.
love
And
that.
so, of course, every Sunday we also meet at 9:15 to pray for our service, and so those are definitely a little more specialized. But
That's right.
it's a great time to get together and just come before the Lord as a church. And so.
Love that.
I think that's the groups that we have going on right now. As far as home groups, we have groups right now Sunday through
Wednesday.
Sunday through Wednesday, yeah. So there's a group meeting each one of those nights, and at least one.
Yeah.
Let us know, and we'll help get you connected.
That's it. That's it. So quick update on Table Songs. We just in August had our most recent table gatherings in Nashville, Tennessee. So we're in the process of, Table does a lot of things, but one of the things that we're working on very intentionally in this season is building what we're calling a table in Nashville. So what that means is a monthly rhythm for community and songwriting for worship leaders and songwriters in Nashville.
Yeah.
So a big heart behind Table Songs is to care for worship leaders and local church
Right.
creatives. And so we're doing that very intentionally in Nashville and building a monthly rhythm. And so right now, like myself and some of us here in North Iowa have been going down every month, to help build that.
Yeah.
However, we've been starting to kind of pass that off to a local team and developing a local team to kind of carry that. And so we're excited to see what God's doing with that. We got
a local team of table people.
a local team of table
Right.
people in Nashville to
Yeah.
kind of carry that forward. And we're already kind of praying through some opportunities that have come up in Atlanta, Georgia, and Birmingham, Alabama as well. So we're kind of seeing the Lord kind of opening some doors to kind of be able to potentially build tables there, which would mean monthly rhythms for worship leaders and songwriters in those cities as well. And so you as Harvest Bible Chapel get to have opportunity to kind of have influence in places that are far outside of North Iowa, through the ministry of Table Songs, whether it's through the community and resources that we're developing for worship leaders and songwriters, as well as through the creative things. Like we're also beginning to put together the pre-production process of another worship project for Table Songs, and so just I would ask for as a church to be praying for these things because they're influencing a lot of people. And there's a lot of people here locally, but also around the country who are involved in it. Not just the core team of Table Songs, which is made up of about 20 people around the country who are actively working on facilitating all of this stuff with Table Songs. But man, there's already hundreds of worship leaders around the country who are involved with Table Songs and receiving the benefit of kind of what we're getting to do as far as the ministry is concerned. So just keep praying for us as we continue to go down the road. But just in a quick synopsis, yes, we're going to be back in Nashville again this month, facilitating some ministry down there. And then we're also going to be in New Orleans. We're partnering with a church and a Bible college/seminary in New Orleans the end of September. So be praying for that. We have some of our team going down there. I'll be down there for a few days that week. And just lots of opportunities that God's opening doors with to be able to serve and encourage worship leaders and churches around the country. And so, Harvest, thank you for your continued just prayer and support and participation of the ministry that we get to steward here at Harvest of Table.
And we're going to keep talking about that too with the church, and just helping the church understand that Table Songs is like supporting a missionary for us, and all of the things that you guys do. So we're going to continue to kind of pour into that a little bit, so that you guys get a good feel for that over the next month or so.
Let's go.
And especially as we are working through the new series in worship.
That's right.
So, but I love that if we're going to support worship pastors and songwriters, those who are writing Christian music, it's not that everybody's in Nashville,
Sure.
but it's not that everybody's in Nashville.
Right.
Like there's a lot of them in Nashville, and so
Right.
being able to have an impact in that environment, I'm excited about it. I really love. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Pastor Terry. So with that, let's kind of move along into say the church segment of our time together.
Actually,
and,
you know what? I really do want to talk about the event that we have coming up for Table Songs here So
Yeah, that's right. That's coming
yeah,
up in
let's not
October.
forget that. Yeah. So we will just kind of prep our people, be praying for that. We're going to need, some more help again, food,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
putting some people up. So last year when we had this event, our people,
Yeah, last year we had like 40 something people here.
Yeah,
That
they
were like
loved it.
from out of town.
right? They loved it.
Yeah.
They were so encouraged by how much we loved on them.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great time and productive for you guys as well
Yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
And so
We're fully anticipating that between our core team, again, our core team is spread all over the country, so they're all coming out. But then on top of that, we're anticipating probably another like 30 friends of the ministry that are coming into town that we're going to get to do some content development with, but also just minister too. But then we have the writing camp that we're going to be doing for the public
Right.
that week, and so that could be anywhere from like another 50 people
Yeah.
coming in for that from anywhere in the country. And so there's going to be a lot of folks in our house in October that are just going to be here for us to do ministry with and do ministry to and for. So
Yeah.
be praying for October as we kind of get ready for that. And that's all happening here in our house in Clear Lake. So, yes, exciting stuff.
yeah, I'm sorry, I wouldn't forget that. So yeah,
Thank
state
you.
of the church.
Yes, we got some sermon series, we got some next steps, and
Yeah.
let's kind of talk through some of that here as we wrap up our
I
time.
mean, we're continuing on in our theme of next steps, where we're challenging our people to be working on their next steps in their relationship with the Lord. And so,
Love that.
being the real deal, being a true Christ follower, reflecting Christ into the world, letting Christ impact our own personal lives, our families, our community, our church community, our community around
Yeah,
us.
right.
And so, that's the question. What is your next step in your relationship with the Lord? And so, as we worked through the real deal, going verse by verse through the book of James, and then we've talked about the fruit of the Spirit. As we draw close to the Lord, one of the overflows of that is that we would be filled with worship. And so that's why
yes.
we're doing a series on worship. You started us off this
did.
last Sunday with your first sermon here at Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And we really appreciate that. It was a great job. And I know,
Thanks, Pastor.
I know getting to do that was exciting and also challenging. And
Sure.
but that was great, kicking us off for a series of worship. And so then we're going to have so we'll finish out the series. It's just a 3-week series on worship.
Mm-hmm.
Then we will have a couple of kind of one-off sermons. And that'll take us in, of course, then to the next month. Where we're going to be starting to talk about the church. Like, okay, so next steps is what is the church? How do we interact with the church?
Yeah,
and what
right.
should it be in our lives?
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year.
Let's go.
Then we're going to be getting close to Christmas. I know.
I was just
I said it.
talking with Christian about it recently about like, okay, we need to set a time on the calendar here where we need to start talking about it soon. So
Yeah, we're a little behind already on that.
we're, it's coming up faster than we realized. And so like 2025, guys, I can't believe it's already well over half over. And, it's going by in a blink of an eye. So like there's a verse in Scripture says, teach us to number our days so we may gain a heart of wisdom. And that's something that's kind of been in my mind and heart lately. It's like, all right, so, numbering our days doesn't mean that's something that we should create panic or fear out of, but just some sobriety, right? Like, again, it goes back to the idea of stewardship. Like, we have, like, the day that we've been given to steward with the Lord and to make the most of for His glory and purpose. And so what are we doing to be intentional with our time and making the most of it? And so when I think about this year, like, this year's gone by really fast, and I was just talking to Catherine, I think it was the other day, about like, man, like a lot's happened this year, and like we've done a lot as a church, and I've done a lot personally this year, and just kind of taking inventory of what God's kind of allowed to like us to partner with Him on. It's just really just exciting. So just as an encouragement to you, Harvest, is that verse where it's like I said, just teach us to number our days that we might gain a heart of wisdom and that we would steward things well. So with that, Pastor Terry, you have anything else that you'd like to share with us before we wrap up today and we get about the work?
Yeah, and I would just say, know that we are praying for you, and let us ask that you would pray for us.
Yes.
Us as staff, as elders, our leaders in the church. Be praying for God's blessings and wisdom and discernment and guidance for us. We really do covet those prayers. And ask that God would use us and produce fruit through Harvest Bible Chapel.
Yes.
So, Yeah, I would I would just ask for that. So our families, and pray for our families, all of those involved in ministry, and so.
So with that, Harvesters, thank you again for joining us for another episode of the State of the Church podcast. This is an exciting time to be a part of Harvest Bible Chapel here in North Iowa, and we just love the opportunity to get to walk through life with you and partner with you in all the ways that we get to here and the Lord allows. And just we'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And until then, remember, you are loved.